Welcome to Week 15 NFL football with yelling and screaming. Sean, I hate the 17-game schedule, but what I will say is at least we have like 4 more full weeks of football. It's weird not being able to finish 500. Jeff Fisher would never. However, that's kind of our reality, but it gives us more football to look forward to. So I'll take the silver lining there.
Well, they did it on purpose. They only did it to make sure that Mike Tomlin could still keep saying that he's always above 500 as a head coach. Right? That's literally the only reason why. I'm waiting for him to go to the 18-week season. I think that the NFL is ready. I think that it's weird. It is weird having 17 games. Obviously, it breaks ties, but like it's irrelevant. Just go to the 18-week season. Do the adjusted schedule, in my opinion, where you do 2 weeks, or you hybrid where you do the Thursdays off and give teams a little bit more rest. And yeah, let's get some relevance back into some of those late games in the season too.
Yeah, I'd love to see 70-man rosters and no preseason. If the players are worried about wear and tear, I think that's a fair argument. But let's just dump those preseason games. And then all the guys that, they used to cut down from 90 to 70 to 65 to 53. Just keep it at 70. Keep all those guys on the team. And then you don't have to cut kids who are development or like want a chance to play in the league, get more special teamers in there, and we get more meaningful football.
I do honestly. I like the idea of preseason, not necessarily for the players, although it does give them a chance to kind of get warmed up and get into game speed. But I think it's really good for the fans. Preseason, it kind of gives the people who maybe can't afford to pay for prime time or mid-season tickets with relevance. It gives them a chance, especially in some of those cooler areas. You get a little warm weather game. You get to kind of get adjusted coming back in. So I don't hate the preseason, but I think 2-game preseason should be just fine. And I think that 18-week season would be cool if they adjusted the schedules a little bit. I got this whole theory on if you want to give people rest, you just adjust it where they play a Sunday or Monday game. Then they have like the kind of a weird week, and then they have their break. They have a Thursday game, and then it goes back to another Sunday, Monday game. And so it like kind of gives them a little bit more of that break, especially if you're going to have more games in Europe, more games in Central South America. The farther you go away, the more those teams definitely should be having some breaks in there. But yeah, I think that we could get that done. But I am excited to still have 4 more weeks of football. College football, we're starting to see that wrap up right now. So NFL staying around, we love that. And if you did the 18 weeks, if you pushed it back, then you get President's Day weekend. I mean, I prefer Super Bowl weekend being its own weekend. But if you did, then President's Day weekend, you get that Monday off anyway. So it kind of would work out for a lot more people to be able to sit and watch the Super Bowl and enjoy themselves and travel and things like that. So
the Falcons traveled to Tampa Bay. Wow, man. Wow. What a game this was. Bucs are up big late, 15 unanswered points by the Falcons to steal this one away. What the hell is going on in Tampa?
I do not know, man. Really, I always give a little bit more. I give a little bit more leeway to divisional games. Obviously, these teams scheme against each other. They play each other a lot, and they really understand more as opposed to just teams who see each other once every couple of years. But a healthy Mike Evans, and he obviously played very well at 6 catches for over 100 yards. So he was cooking, and it looked like the Bucs really had it in hand. I don't know. Kurt Cobain decided he was not going to have it. And I give all the respect there. Obviously, Bijan had a solid game, just under 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. But there's some people who are like, hey, why is Kirk Cousins not play the whole season? And I'll tell you right now, Kirk Cousins not playing the whole season is because he's been very inconsistent. You can have him have games like this, and then you have games where he throws for 100 yards and gets sacked 5 times and throws multiple picks. And so, like, you're not seeing that consistency in his quarterback play. But when you see a game like this, of course, it's like, well, he should clearly be the starter. And it's like, well, no. Obviously, you didn't watch the whole season. The reason why they're an under 500 team isn't just because of, is partly because of his quarterback play.
Yeah, Penix missed some time. We talked about whether Penix should have been the guy, last year when they finally did make that change. But like my big issue with the Falcons, regardless of who's back there, is they don't really have any wide receivers outside of Drake London. I did not expect good performance. I mean, even Bijan went off, and like conceptually, all the Bucs had to do is stop Bijan, and they didn't do that. They let like subpar wide receivers run all over them. So like I don't know defensively, the Bucs might not make the playoffs, but if they do, defensively, they're going to get shredded by these playoff teams. Like if the Falcons come to town and put up 29 on you pretty effortlessly, like Bijan's a talent, right? I don't want to take anything away from him, but there's not any real wide receivers that played Thursday night, and they got beat. We had joked 2 weeks ago when Evans came back about trying to get him to 1,000 yards, and like Baker's trying. A couple more games like that.
He's trying.
It's like if it's a lost season, you're going to lose a division to the Panthers. Like just feed Mike Evans.
I completely agree with that. I think that he is definitely the workhorse for that offense. And you might as well just get him the numbers, get him the respect. We still love and appreciate Mike Evans for the talent that he is in the NFL. But yeah, just if we're gonna stat pad, just stat pad, dude. If you're gonna be a mid-tier team and not make the playoffs, then hook a brother up. I'm sure Mike Evans will return the favor.
Kyle Pitts obviously covers a lot of ills at wide receiver, but Pitts has not been the Pitts we saw Thursday night, the Pitts we saw at Florida. His rookie year, he came out and played, really, really well for a rookie tight end, putting up numbers, lots of targets. And then he's kind of disappeared over the last couple seasons here. But, obviously we see flashes of what he is capable of. I don't know if it's sustainable for the Falcons. Drake London will be back at some point. This team cannot win games through Kyle Pitts. I just don't think it's possible. But, man, it was cool to watch. It was cool to watch him regain some of that form. That's what he looked like at Florida. That guy was a world beater.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, you needed Kirk Cousins to throw for almost 400 yards to win this game. They can't win, and that's not sustainable. It's not realistic. They need to find more consistent ways to get the ball to those receivers, right? And I think next season they know what they need to build on. They obviously need to bring in a second receiver to really complement Drake London, and that would shore up your offense right there. Because you've got a 1-2 punch there. You've got Pitts, who just leak out and can still be very targetable. 11 receptions is, I mean, like, come on. You at some point someone's got to cover this guy. So that's something that we're not seeing consistently from him. But if he's a guy who can be a 5, 6, 7 reception a game type of guy, that'll really, really help out this offense and definitely make them more competitive in future games.
You have anything else from the Thursday night game? It kind of was what it was. The penalties were horrific. I don't know how, from a coaching standpoint, you allow that to happen. I mean, Morris isn't. I mean, he's coaching the Falcons for a reason, but that's crazy. Like 19 penalties is insane.
That's putting up Raiders numbers. That's undisciplined football. I mean, to be fair, you tend to see some more penalty games when you have divisional teams playing up against each other. There's usually a little bit of bad blood there, and so we kind of get a little more emotion from them. But that's just undisciplined football. Like you got to be able to control yourself. You got to be the world class at that point, and just too many mistakes. That's just all you do is just hurt your team at that point. So sometimes a penalty is warranted. Obviously, you take a PI when a guy's got you beat over top because it's better for that than a touchdown. But at the end of the day, the false starts, the illegal formations, all of the just ticky-tack little ones that really just hurt your team because you're not paying attention that becomes something that you're willing to look at with your staff and with your coaching and just making sure those players are disciplined where they need to be.
We have a big game in Foxborough for our game of the week. The assumed AFC East champion preseason Buffalo Bills here. Favorites on the road, 2.5-point favorites at Foxborough at first place New England. This is a huge one. This is a huge game for the East. This is a huge game for the AFC. What do you have on Bills Patriots? And should we be reading into the underdog at home angle?
I think this is a ridiculous line. But it really comes down to, in my opinion, quarterback play. They're probably going to say they're comparable, although Drake May's numbers are better than Josh Allen's are this season. But I would say it's probably going to come down to the running back play. We're looking at probably one of the best running backs that we've seen for the Patriots in a long time. But James Cook is having a phenomenal season. And so I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, that's probably going to be your deciding factor. But then you look again and you look at, even though we're on the receiver core, I mean, you could take any one of the receivers from the Bills. I don't think any one of them is better than Stephon Diggs. I'll be honest with you. I do not believe so. So realistically, you're looking at a quarterback who's played better this season, made less mistakes. We only got 6 picks from Drake May this season to 23 touchdowns. I mean, that's incredible. You're looking at one of the better running backs that the Patriots have had for a team that has consistently had very kind of flippant running backs. They basically kind of cycle in and out a little bit. Running back by committee has been the team way for a long time. And then you get an actual good receiver in Diggs. I think that the Patriots are getting a little bit disrespected here based on the Josh Allen effect, which is he can do anything. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. So, I mean, if you're only looking at just the running backs, obviously Cook is on paper, and you see it. He's obviously the guy that they're going to favor in this matchup. But if you look, in my opinion, the other two are just as important: the receiver core and your quarterback play. And I'm going to give the edge to the Patriots here. So I think that the underdog at home is definitely. I'm expecting the Patriots to play a really strong game here.
We've talked a lot about the Bills this year because they are a powerhouse team, and they've looked bad at times. But we sit here in Week 15, the Bills are 9-4, winning the games they've won and losing the games they've lost. All kind of comes out in the wash, right? Obviously, you want to win all your games, but I mean, this is the worst Bills team we've seen, and they're sitting here at 9-4, and so I also have the Patriots winning this game, but doesn't this feel like a Josh Allen game? Doesn't this like we're talking, they're the favorite, but Drake May has had such a better year. I can see the comparison on the screen, the quarterback comparison. And then Josh Allen has 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. The Bills win by 20. It just has that kind of feel to it. I don't know if it's supposed to be snowing, but I think the Patriots are the better team. But Josh Allen, right? It just feels weird to me.
I mean, he is the reigning MVP, so we have to give him credit in that regard. But at the same token, I just think that there's going to be some good scheming today. As far as weather goes, I mean, that's always going to be a factor. You're cold. I think that the Bills are finally starting to settle into their weather now. But I mean, realistically, we're not watching the Bills beat great teams right now. I mean, their last 2 wins are against a Bengals team, which they barely beat, and they gave up 34 points to. And then they beat the Steelers. Obviously, they have been a very inconsistent team this year. But you lose to the Texans. You give up 32 to the Bucs. You lose to the Dolphins. Are we watching a well-polished team? I'm not saying that we are at all. They make way too many mistakes. And then sometimes when Josh Allen does too much is when you start to see those picks come into play, is when you start to see the fumbles come into play. And so I think they just need to really play their game, and they're going to have to contend with a strong Patriots defense. One of the better defenses in the NFL. They already lost to the Patriots earlier this season in a tight game. So I mean, realistically, you're not going to. It's not like the Patriots. The Patriots feel like they should be the favorites here. I don't understand how a team who lost to you lost to earlier in the season, you're favored to win, and they're at home. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. But I mean, hey. We're gonna see a strong Patriots defense. I think that's really what we're looking for right here, and we're gonna see probably at least 1 pick from Josh Allen because he's gonna try really, really hard to make sure that he puts his team above the threshold and make sure that they win. But it's gonna be 1 to 3 inches of snow in the forecast, baby. 11 degrees. This is gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. let's get into the game board a bit here. Cardinals go to Houston in what is a huge game for the Texans. I don't have a whole lot on this one, Sean. I'll let you go, but I just wanted to say that Jacoby Brissett is better. This team is better without Kyler Murray. And I said it jokingly all year because I'm not a Kyler Murray guy, but the results speak for themselves offensively. They still have a lot of issues on defense, but Jacoby Brissett is doing things without the best players on this team that Kyler Murray can't do with the best players on this team. And it's jarring to see.
Jacoby Brissett has played at a lot of NFL teams. I think he's got a better pedigree overall. I think that he's definitely better suited for this offense. I think that the difference here is Kyler Murray tends to be a talent. People look at the intangibles. They say, okay, he can move, he can make things happen with his feet. Well, realistically, we're looking at a team that's on their fourth running back now. And so you just need a quarterback that's going to be consistent. You need a guy who's going to sit in the pocket when he needs to, get the ball to the receivers when he needs to. Obviously, Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in the league. You still have him on the team. You still have the opportunity to get the ball to him, and he's almost at 100. He almost had 100 receptions on the season, almost 1,000 yards. So that's your guy. That's your main receiver. We obviously know he's got the ball to him, but Brissett, I think, just kind of sits more consistently in the pocket and doesn't try to do too much. I think the problem with Kyler Murray is that he's still playing AAU football, and he's playing it. He's doing too much. He's playing it like his flag. He's running around way too much. And then he's getting hit. And then what happens when that happens? You get injured. And so I think his career is going to be shortened significantly from his inability to really be a pocket passer, to really make smart decisions. And he can't play a full season to save his life. And so realistically, like, this game is the Texans' game to win. I think honestly the Texans. We talked a lot about this team, Rick. You really aren't the biggest Texans fan. You've got some critiques of C.J. Stroud and talked about how Davis Mills was the guy. Well, we're sitting here at an 8-5 Texans team, who looks like they're going to be the ones to win their division potentially, because of the collapse that we've just seen from the Colts. So it's a lot different looking in that South than it did, a couple weeks ago. So I think that the Texans right here have this game, and I think that they are going to maybe push to make that run to close out the season. And I think it's going to be, it'll be real interesting as we approach the closeout of the season here.
Yeah, and apologies, I got all kinds of stuff going on over here, click clack and dog feet, and we are not set up yet with the new studio,
No
so little in between. But now my computer's plugged in, and I've yelled at the dog enough, or I don't think he's going to come in here anymore. Browns and Bears. This should be a get right for the Bears. 7.5-point favorites at home. They obviously just need to continue winning. You have anything that stands out to you on this one?
Oh, I'm excited for Shedeur. We watched last week. We watched that game, and we watched how he has potential to be the quarterback for that team. And we watched really bad coaching decisions. So if you're the Browns, realistically, your goal this game is to see and continue to evaluate Shedeur against better talent, I would say, as far as the quarterback play and as far as overall offense, I would say. But realistically, you got to make good coaching decisions. You can't put your team in the good positions and then fuck it up. I'm sorry, but a 2-point conversion where you pull your quarterback who threw for almost 400 yards in clearly the best game of his very young NFL career, and you pull him for a shitty 2-point conversion, what are you doing here? It's not like he doesn't have the ability to. If that's an RPO, you're doing trick plays. Let him be the guy who makes that play. Don't put it in the hands of a running back who obviously is going to be an inconsistent passer at best. It's going to be either a run or a poorly thrown pass if that's the case. So I think that it's just going to come down to coaching decisions. It should be the Bears' game to win. They are the better team in this game. They're a more talented team. They're a more consistently playing team. And so they're definitely they definitely want to cheat. They got to keep it up in that division. It's not an easy division that they're playing in. So this should be a game where they put their foot on the gas and they keep it going.
We have the Sean Super Bowl here, Raiders and Eagles. Uh, Eagles are 12.5 point favorites, which, given their recent form, might be about right. About 2 scores better than the Raiders feels okay. Geno's done probably for the year here for the Raiders. How do you feel about that one?
Shut it down. I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. Realistically, it's not like the play was great. You have my opinion on what I think. I think that the Raiders just have a small receiver core, and it's not conducive to Geno's style of play. Obviously, the offensive line is not great either, but just the receiver core is not conducive to his style of play, having the big, strong receivers, which is why he hit Bauer so much. But I'd say that this is definitely a get right game for the Eagles. They need to get back on track, and this is the time to do it. They're at home. They're playing against a weak team offensively and defensively. They could shred the Raiders right here and actually keep moving forward, keep themselves in a good situation in their division. They definitely can't keep losing games. They need to figure out what they're doing offensively because it's just not working well, and they need to figure out what they're doing defensively. No Jalen Carter doesn't mean that your defense suddenly should be bottom 5 in the NFL. Like Jordan Davis is still phenomenal on that defensive line, and you have a rotation of guys that you've championed and we watched play really well earlier on in the season and in previous years. And so you've got 5, 6, 7 guys that you can be cycling in. You need to figure out how to make that work. Like I get it, you lost a perennial Pro Bowler in your defensive line, but that doesn't make your defense suddenly worse in the NFL. Like you're not scheming well. You got to replace him and do some things and make some blitzes with a couple of other guys. You got to really fortify that front and make sure that you get to the quarterback, and they should be able to do that in this game. It's not like the Raiders have a good offensive line by any means. So I expect the Raiders to get blitzed a lot. I expect some penalties. I expect the Eagles to put their foot on the gas and play a really strong game today.
Is there a quarterback currently in the NFL that you would rather have where you have to win every single game the rest of the way to maintain your dynasty? Chargers go to Kansas City, and of course, Patty Mahomes, a guy I talk a lot of shit about, but will also admit is the best quarterback in the NFL and maybe the best quarterback of all time. Would you be shocked if the Chiefs run the table here? And they need help, right? They need to run the table and then get some help. But it's Mahomes, right? Like they could.
They could. It starts right honestly, it definitely starts right here. You have to win divisional games. You have to beat the other potential playoff teams. You have to. So there's nothing that you can do if you can't beat your own divisional teams. We know that they have to beat the Chargers this week. They have to show that they are still one of those top tier teams in the AFC. In my opinion, even if this is a lost season, it doesn't really put a stain on Patrick Mahomes' career. People talk about Tom Brady being, the greatest quarterback of all time for winning 7 championships, but he played for 20 years. So he also lost and didn't make it to the championship in plenty of seasons, most of the seasons. So every year isn't going to be the best year for the Chiefs. We're going to see that. I don't think the dynasty is over. I think that they make some adjustments next year. Obviously, injuries definitely played a role on the offensive side of the ball. In very inconsistent play. We watched a lot of drops in places where they shouldn't have been. The running game has kind of helped them in previous seasons. And it was kind of mediocre at best this year. And so I think that there's definitely things that they need to fix. They know that their defense was not nearly as consistent as it was in previous seasons in those Super Bowl runs. So they know what they got to do in the offseason. They got to figure it out. But I'm sure that next year we'll be having the same argument over whether or not Patrick Mahomes is going to win any game, every game, because that's what we've seen from them over the past couple of years. So I think that they have to win this game. They're playing at home. They're playing against a divisional rival. They're playing against is Herbert in the day? I think he's
not that it matters because his offensive line is toilet paper.
True. But still, I mean, that definitely changes it. Obviously, having a perennial 4,000-yard passer at the helm is going to definitely help any offense. But yeah, Chiefs need to win this game at home. It's definitely a must-win game. Every game is a must-win game for them. But in order for them to kind of sneak into the playoffs, they definitely have to beat the Chargers today.
AFC North has gotten real interesting in a hurry. This Ravens Bengals game all of a sudden is like a huge game. Burrow comes back and doesn't look much different than the Burrow we're used to. Something's wrong with Lamar. I think he's way more hurt than maybe even he knows. This is the kind of thing where even if Burrow was playing early in the year, we would have thought this was Ravens no problem. And now I don't know. I think the Ravens are still the better team, 2.5-point favorites on the road. But if Lamar can't be Lamar and Burrow just kind of shows up and throws for 400 yards like he does whenever he feels like it, I think the Bengals could steal this one here. And then the division gets real tight.
The Bengals actually are the better offensive team right now with Burrow coming back and nothing to lose. He's just playing spoiler to close out this season. It's not necessarily anything that he needs to do. I think that if the Ravens don't win this game, the Steelers will end up probably taking the division. The Bengals are a strong offensive team, and their biggest issue has always been their defense in the past couple of years. We've seen that. The problem with the Ravens right now is you are absolutely correct. Lamar is playing hurt. The toe is not where it is, and for a guy who moves as much as he does and needs to have full mobility, we're seeing issues with that, and we're seeing them rear their ugly head. And he's going to try to play through the season. He's going to play through it. That's what happens with real football players, with MVPs. They're not going to give up on anything. We'll see guys in his caliber constantly try to play through the pain. But we're not seeing consistent play from him. We're not seeing him making the right reads. We're not seeing the ball get to the receivers when it needs to. We're not seeing him escape the pocket and be able to do those things that we call vintage Lamar. So we are looking at very inconsistent offensive play. And when that happens, their offense is not built for really anybody else to thrive in. Obviously, you have good tight end. You've got an incredible running back. You've got adequate receivers. You got to get the ball to him. So I think that this game, Bengals at home, Joe Burrow playing spoiler with the Ravens defense that is sometimes this season actually played adequate and sometimes just played like shit. I think that this might be the Bengals game here to win. The Ravens definitely should be the better team, but any given Sunday. So I'm actually probably going to take the Bengals in this game because I'm just expecting Burrow to just come out here firing.
I'm disappointed that my fun narrative has come to an end.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this shot now because I don't want to live in a world where I win this bet with you because of Brady Cook. So I will concede now. There's no way in hell the Jets win this game. Jags are going to do this by double digits.
Let's go.
Unbelievable. It all lined up. And then Brady Cook comes into the game, and I'm like,
oh my God. Dude, the Jags this season. Best season of Trevor Lawrence's career. We're good. Seeing they do look good. I mean, we're seeing a strong football team right now on all cylinders. Defense is playing significantly better. Offense is looking good, and offense hasn't even played with their best receiver for most of the season. They are looking like a good team this year. And to close out the season, they got the Jets, they got a strong Broncos team, they got a whimpering Colts team, and they got the Titans. We're going to look at a 12-win, maybe 13-win team here. So I'm excited for the Jags to have a good season. Now, here's my question for you. Jags have a great season. How fast do they move to London? How are we looking at a Jags team that moves to London in the next 2 years? 2-3 years.
I think the problem with the Jaguars is they've been better the last few years. They've kind of revitalized football culture in Jacksonville. I don't think the NFL wants out of Jacksonville the way they did before. So I understand the ties that they have from an ownership perspective and from a fandom perspective. I think the Jags to London is a solid move for the next round of expansion, because I think you have to put a team back in Jacksonville, and that's complicated. That is complicated because people are going to be pissed if the Jags leave.
I get that, but I don't think you have to. I mean, you've got. I mean, I'm sorry, but if we're looking at potential fan bases right now, Jacksonville, cool, but we're talking about the NFL being able to pull all of Europe in to that conversation, and already having the infrastructure. It's not like they don't have anywhere to play. It's not like they don't have the connections there that you just discussed, and it's not like people from Jacksonville won't have the Falcons and the Bucs and Miami to be to satisfy their fandom. It's not like the South is it's not like you don't have college football teams in that area who can satisfy your football fandom. So I think that Jacksonville as a fan base, as a city, definitely benefits from having the Jags around. Obviously, they really wanted the Jags. I'm sorry, Jacksonville wants to keep them. But if you're the NFL, if you have the opportunity, you got to jump on that. Like it's money in the bag for you.
Yeah,
you obviously
I still think expanding to 36 teams is the move, right? You stick 2 teams in London and you find 2 more to put somewhere else, Mexico City and Rio, maybe, and just kind of figure out where that fits. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Cons want out of Jacksonville. Well, not necessarily out of Jacksonville. They want into London, right? That's where a lot of their assets are centered. So I think it works. I think it fits. I think it's way harder. Say they stay hot and win a Super Bowl. Not leaving. The NFL's not relocating a Super Bowl
winning team. No way.
Yeah, unlikely, right? We think they're good. I don't think they're the best team in the AFC, but I think that the chances of them moves in the opposite direction of their
the better the
wins.
team is.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's inversely proportionate.
Giants and the Washington football team, mostly a meaningless game. Obviously, every game that Dart gets to play is an important one. This Commanders team is cooked, though.
I mean, both teams are trash. Realistically, we know that the season is lost for them. Both of them injury issues. Realistically, but the goal for either one of them should just be to play spoiler for the rest of the season. But like, I don't see either one of them being relevant. Being any more relevant. I think you obviously get to evaluate some young players here, and so you continue to do that. But yeah, now my question for you is this: we talked about the Jags not moving. Why don't we move one of those New Jersey teams to London? You're not moving the Giants. Get rid of the Jets. They don't need them. Long Island doesn't need them. They're just disappointment anyway. And their Jets is perfect. They can just fly over there. It's fine. Like they're the London Jets, the London silly nannies. You can call them something else. No, the Giants are.
I don't hate it.
I mean, move them over there, dude. They're playing in Jersey anyway. They might as well be playing in Europe. It's fine.
Man, I went on a rant about Rutgers basketball, dead ball dancing yesterday, and it was very Jersey hate centric. So I'm here. I'm here for moving the Jets to London.
Oh yeah, that would be. There you go. They're gonna suck anyway. They might as well suck in London.
Right? It's like a little trip. Colts Hawks in what is perhaps the most intriguing story of NFL Week 15. Dude. If you are Riley Leonard, do you just retire? You just give up? Like your team would rather have a guy that's been retired for 5 years who literally took his cleats out of a trophy case because they were already broken in. A guy who's a grandpa, a guy who was a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame this year and is now not eligible till 2031. Why is Phillip Rivers starting for the Colts when they are still in first place ish in their friggin' division?
I have no idea
what's happening.
What the hell they're doing. This is clickbait. This is a story for the NFL. This is exactly what it is. It's a story because there are so many quarterbacks right now that could have a starting spot. The fact that Jameis Winston not starting, the fact that there's other guys in the NFL who should have that opportunity. It boggles the mind. I think that they looked at his style of play from years ago and thought, you know what, this guy kind of fits in the same mold. But there are plenty of other guys who are second stringers on any other team that could have this opportunity that could fit well in this offense. Plenty of pocket passers. It makes no sense to me. It makes zero sense to me why they called him up.
Our buddy Riley is saying, obviously hot take based, right? But Cam Newton, I guess, is mad. He is mad that he didn't get called. And I'm trying to think about it like X's and O's, right? And I feel like Phillip Rivers' game, his style of play, is more shelf stable, I guess is how I want to put it, than Cam Newton's was, right? Like if you told me one of these guys comes out of retirement after 5 years, God, Jesus. I'll put this up on the screen.
They could have gotten Kaepernick. You're 100% correct. The disrespect, I'm telling you, I think realistically it's two things. One, it's definitely going to get you some buzz, especially for a team that's been streaking downward. Irsay is doing this particularly for the buzz, but also his style of play is definitely going to be more. He's going to sit in the pocket there, and he's going to sling the ball. That's it. He's not moving anywhere. So as long as his arm's good, they're fine. Realistically, Cam Newton is way too mobile. And so they're not going to have somebody who's going to be moving too much. They're going to have somebody they can probably use the same playbook. They use the exact same playbook. He's going to have easy reads. And they're just going to have him sit back there like they did Daniel Jones. Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, all those guys who are mobile quarterbacks, guys who move a lot in the pocket, get out of the pocket and escape. That's not going to be what they expect from this quarterback in this game. It's not. And so I think that it makes sense. I don't like it. I think that it makes sense as far as his style of play, but it does not make sense to me in that there's so many other quarterbacks in the NFL right now who should be able to fill in this role. I don't understand. Why do you have a second and third string quarterback anyway? What's the point? You just sign a guy off the street.
And Vegas is salivating here because this is very public. The Seahawks are 14-point favorites,
as they should be. Their defense is playing well. They have one of the best offenses in the NFL. Realistically, they've just been a top 10 team all season. It should be an ass wipe right here. Like they should beat the Colts. What I'm watching here is one of the best collapses I've seen in football. A team trying to do anything to stay relevant after starting the season 7-0. Like it just doesn't make too much sense to me. But people figured them out. And so now they're calling it audible. Literally, they call it audible. So you got to do what you got to do. I don't like the move, but I can understand it. I do think it's dumb as hell. But hey, if you're Carly Irsay, you got to do what you got to do.
Well, and we talked about how football intelligent this front office has been. What if Phillip Rivers wins this game for the Colts?
If he wins this game for the Colts, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised per se. I mean, again, we talked about the fact that
I would be shocked. I would be shocked.
He's got nothing else to lose, bro. He can throw for 400 yards. He could. I mean, if he did, Seattle it would be a collapse.
To who? You know, like Seattle is better than the healthy version of this Colts team.
Yes, I agree with you. I mean, the receivers aren't bad. The receivers aren't bad. They're not top tier receivers for the Colts by any means, but we've watched quarterbacks for the Colts make mid-tier receivers look good. It's the same thing with the Bills. Like the quarterback makes the receivers. You don't have to know any of their names. You just know that, Pittman, Pierce, they're not bad. They're not bad receivers by any means, but the quarterback play is going to make it. They have to get to their spots, and he has to hit them. That's really what it comes down to. And Rivers is capable of doing so. It just doesn't make sense to me why they didn't give one of the younger guys in the NFL an opportunity to do the same thing. I'm sure there's a second or third string quarterback somewhere that they could have found. But they should have also just had their own guys. They really were like, fuck it. They're hoping that he's Joe Flacco. They're hoping that he's going to be a guy who's a senior veteran leader who can kind of keep the momentum going in the right direction or right the ship realistically against a very strong Seahawks team. Very strong Seahawks team.
Colossal cross-conference game in Denver. Packers come to town. The Packers are favored in this game, 1.5 right now. I'm excited for this one this afternoon. This could have easily been a game of the week for me. I like the Broncos here, but
Packers
feels like a Sean Payton win.
Packers coming off that huge win. We're going to be looking at hopefully a defensive game. I'm expecting it to be more of a defensive game. I'm really not expecting it to be a 30-plus point barn burner for both teams. But you never really know. I mean, they could when they get hot, they get hot. So I think there's going to be a strong defensive game. I think we're going to see a lot of field goals kicked. And I think that we're going to see realistically, it's going to come down to which quarterback stays off their back the most. In my opinion, the pressure is going to be there from both D lines. So it's going to come down to probably who's going to be more consistent and keep themselves on the field on their offense.
I mean, Broncos have an opportunity here with the Bills in New England. End of the day, the top of the AFC could look very different than it does right now. Another game with kind of the same level of interest from a scoreboard standings standpoint is Detroit going to LA to play the Rams. These teams moving in two very different directions as of late, but still the class of the NFC. What do you have in this one? This could be a fun one.
Honestly, I've been one of the people who thought that Detroit was going to be a bit better this season. We have definitely seen less consistent play, and some of the things that we some of those collapses that we see that they've had in previous seasons, which is why they haven't had a chance to get over the hump. The Rams look incredible right now. So I mean, they are definitely the team to beat, in my opinion, in the NFC. I think that they are going to play a strong game at home against Detroit. I think both teams have good running games. Detroit's is more dynamic, but the Rams has been very consistent in supporting their offense. I think that Goff, for what he's doing right now, I think Matthew Stafford's just playing a little bit better. Definitely having an MVP caliber season right now. And so you look at those two things right there. You look at the run game, you look at the pass game, and you say, who's going to really step it up on defense? You've got Hutchinson versus Verse. You've got two strong defensive lines that could really put pressure on those quarterbacks. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think this is going to be more of a scoring game than the last game. I think this game is going to be probably in the 30s to 40s each team because we're just going to start to see some breakouts. And they're good receivers on both teams. They're good running backs on both teams. There's good quarterbacks on both teams. So this is going to be a really good game for an NFC game. And I think it's going to definitely start to put that picture into play as to who is going to be the top team going into the playoffs.
Tutu Atwell is back. Give me Tutu to score a touchdown in this one. Rams are 10-3, and they lost some stupid games. This team is hot, man, and I think this division is going to get 3 teams in. Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, it's the North. The North looks good too, dude. It's weird. And there's going to be a tight race going into the playoffs.
Niners should win to keep pace with the Seahawks and the Rams. Titans coming to town. This Titans team is bad. I feel like we're beating a dead horse at this point. But the Niners are good. The Niners would win if the Titans were their final form. And they are not.
The Titans would have to be Titans. Actual fucking Titans to beat the Niners. I know they're happy because they came off a win against a Browns team that no one has any confidence in either. That's very inconsistent in every level of football. If you're the Titans, you're just hoping to see good flashes from Cam Ward. Tight game. They've lost some tight games, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. You look at a couple of these games. They lost to Seattle by 1 score. They lost to the Texans by 1 score. They lost to the Chargers by 1 score. They they lost to the Broncos by 8. It's not, some of these games they've had have been relatively tight games. Obviously getting blown out in plenty of other games, but they could play a very tight game today against a Christian McCaffrey less Niners team. So I'm not sold. They're gonna lose.
With the Bucs loss on Thursday night, this game takes on a little more meaning. The first place Carolina Panthers.
First place Carolina Panthers, baby.
Go to play a Saints team that's in the middle of a rebuild. I probably would have had the Panthers winning this one, but is being the favorite and being in first place actually a detriment to this weird-ass Panthers team? Like, do they lose this game to the Saints because they should win it?
It's a divisional game. So, again, we always talk about them scheming for each other. But I think this is probably the best Panthers team that we've seen since Cam. I firmly believe that. I think Tet added some things that they needed on that offense. I think Dowdle pairing with Chuba, they literally both play very well in the backfield. I think Bryce Young feels comfortable a little bit more than he has in recent years. And they're playing against a team who has had injury after injury, inconsistent quarterback play. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Panthers take this game. I think it's going to be a tighter game than than a lot of people expect. It is only, it's 2.5, which makes sense. But it's on the road. And so that's never easy to do. But I think that the Panthers have the pedigree to take this game. And could you imagine, Rick, a 10-win Panthers team? Could you have imagined?
We're knocking on the door, man. We like
Panthers team, coming into the season. You look at teams last year. You look at the changes they make, and you say, all right, you have your projection for the season. I did not see this coming, but I am so happy for it.
I'm very on record with my opinions on the quarterbacking for Carolina.
You said some mean things about Bryce.
First place. It's not necessarily on his arm, but wins are wins. And if you win your division, you get a home game. And if nothing else, it's going to continue to build that culture. It's going to get these kids exposure to playoff football. And, they might get a draw. You talked about how they play these tight games. Say the Rams win the West, the Seahawks get that wild card, right? Seahawks come to town, like the narrative starts to write itself. Could the Panthers beat a Seahawks team coming West Coast to East Coast? Maybe.
Even still, let's say the Niners make it in. Eagles and Panthers end up the 3 seed, which is a possibility instead of just the 4. Then maybe they end up playing against the Niners again, cross country coming in. How wild would that be? Panthers, Niners, Panthers at home. Panthers beat the Niners first round of the playoffs. Seattle, I think, is a tougher win for them, but I could see them beating the Niners in a home game. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we having the second round Panthers versus Packers in the second round of the playoffs? Like, is that what we're seeing? Is that what we could potentially be seeing?
I'm in. I'm in. Give me the Panthers to ruin everything. I want it. I want it done.
Fuck yeah. Panthers and Jags ruin. Panthers, Jags, and Texans ruin everything. How crazy would that be?
Panthers, Jags Super Bowl would be diabolical.
Oh, that would be ridiculous. If that happened, the NFL it's definitely rigged. It's definitely rigged. It makes there's no way in hell. But I would love to watch that, dude.
Is this their 20-year anniversary? 30-year anniversary this year? The Panthers and the Jags?
Oh, I do not know.
Talk to me about Vikings Cowboys while I figure out if the NFL is rigged. This is 5.5, Dallas.
It makes sense.
1993, not 96.
Okay.
So no.
Yeah, it makes sense that Dallas will be favored in this game. Obviously, they're playing at home. Their offense is significantly better and more consistent than we've seen from the Vikings. If you're the Cowboys, you have an opportunity here if you close out to put as much pressure as possible in Philadelphia. They have to win out. You definitely have to win out. Obviously, the Eagles are 2 games ahead, but if you can get it to where you are really give yourself the best opportunity. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, this is what you get. You really didn't expect the season to shape up the way it did. You were hoping for more. The Micah Parsons trade was obviously ridiculous. Everyone was very confused about that. If you're Jerry Jones and your team is knocking on the door of the division this late in the season, is it successful season or not? Who's to say? But I'm going to go ahead and say that the Cowboys take this game. I think that they are the better team in this game, and they just have to play like it on the field.
I think the line's kind of disrespectful. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm a little upset at this one. I know I haven't said much about the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, but some people really don't think he's a good quarterback, and
some people
to have this be a 1-score line is disrespectful to another quarterback I talk shit about, which is Dak Prescott. But Dak is bad in a way that good quarterbacks are bad. And every quarterback for the Vikings is bad in you went to a D2 school kind of way. So I don't understand the line. I think the Cowboys are better on offense and on defense. And that's not to slight the Vikings defense. Their defensive secondary has been pretty solid this year after having a down season last year on a better defensive unit. I think the secondary has really stepped up and looked good, but it just feels like the Cowboys boat race them. The Cowboys can score 40 points in the game. I don't think the Vikings can. I give me the Cowboys, but I was just a little weirded out by the line.
The Cowboys can absolutely score 40 points in a game. Here's the problem, though. The Cowboys have not scored consistently when they needed to in some games. I mean, they got washed by Detroit, and they're going to close out the season playing against the Giants and the Commanders. They have the opportunity here to get 9, maybe 10 wins on the season. So you go 10-6-1. I would say that that's a pretty good season. If you go 9-7-1, still relatively good. Looking at what happened with Micah Parsons, obviously, you start to see some of the other guys start to step up. You like Overshawn. You like a couple of other guys on that defense to really you make some moves in the offseason. You try to draft defensive players, and you kind of move on from it. But they have to win out, and they've lost some closer games. They've lost games that we expected that they should have won, and so realistically, I'm never confident in the Cowboys. I think that they play real inconsistently, and I think that they need to win this game. So I'd expect them to try as hard as possible. But when that happens, we watch Dak make mistakes. We watch some inconsistent play from the receivers. We watch drops. And so no pressure. Dak plays fine. Pressure. Cowboys suck.
Question from the chat. Can the Miami Dolphins give the Steelers their first loss on Monday Night Football in 22 years?
I hope so. I would love to see the Miami Dolphins beat the shit out of the Steelers. I would love to see Tua throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers get sacked 3-4 times. I don't hate the Steelers. I just don't like the idea that the Steelers, for as inconsistently as they played, still have the opportunity to win their division, and do it as a just above 500 team. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't do it for me. That division was a powerhouse last year. In the last 2 years, we looked at them. We said, okay, any one of these teams minus the Browns could make waves in the playoffs. And now we're looking at it like, it's same old Mike Tomlin team. It's just above 500. We're not the Steelers signing Aaron Rodgers was not something that I was happy about anyway. So I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I'd like to see him lose.
Cheating his ass coach in the NFL.
Rick's talking about the trip, and he will talk about it every week. He does not
Never
like
forget.
that trip, and he never forget. That's fair.
Never
I can't
forget.
hold you to it. It is kind of fucked. He did it. He did it. But I think there's a few other cheating ass coaches in the NFL.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Belichick's in college now.
That's fair. That's fair.
Who you got real quick for? What's that?
Peyton's still coaching.
Yeah. Documented cheating. It's suspended for cheating. Yeah, that's fair. Who you got for trash bin this week?
Oh, I'm taking Bengals straight up, and I'm gonna take Panthers spread. Bengals straight up, Panthers spread.
I am going to go Broncos straight up and take the points with New England plus 2.5.
Okay. Good call. That's going to be a tight game, man. Game of the week. Oh,
yeah.
You're going trash bin? You're going trash bin game of the week?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We said we wouldn't do that. All right, give me Broncos plus the 1.5.
Okay.
And I will take
that Giants Washington. Who do you want in that game? That's trash. You can't get any more trash bin than that.
All right. Can I change? Actually, I gotta go for you.
You can do whatever you want.
Broncos money line. Colts plus 14.
Okay. Respect. Colts plus 14 should be easy money.
It feels like a trap, man. Like if it was 13.5, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but it's sitting dead at. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure that's right.
Is that a clean 14? Did they update
It's a clean 14.
Damn.
Yeah. Colts plus 14.
Watch there be a field goal at the end of the game just to fuck you over.
Backdoor cover.
Oh, right, I love that.
Thanks for joining us, yelling and screaming. Injuries are in. Check your lineups. Check your bets. Sean, you got any last-minute thoughts?
Football season's almost over, guys. I just want to say it's been a pleasure. I really, really enjoyed doing this. We'll bring it back to you next season. I'm definitely down to bring it back next season. I really, really have fun sitting here and chatting with Rick and talking about football and just sharing our knowledge and our views with you guys. And I really appreciate you viewers. We'll keep bringing it back. But yeah, just excited. It's a good slate this week. So get your lineup set. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there. And, continue a good holiday season. Let's just continue.
Yes, sir. Yelling and screaming. We'll see you guys for NFL Week 16. Peace out, y'all.
Later.